Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassett, and today we will definitively find out where Lamar Jackson will go by spinning the Where Will Lamar Go wheel. Patrick, are you ready?
I am ready, Josh.
Spin it. Spin it.
Spin it.
Boom, here we go. Oh, a lot of teams. Lamar Jackson will be playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Boom. And that's how you know it. It looks like the Ravens are going to work out a trade. They're going to end up with Trevor Lawrence, and the franchise is going to be saved.
I think that's a great news for Ravens fans. Now, is it a little scary thinking about that talented roster with a guy like Lamar Jackson? Probably going to have to play him a decent amount.
Well, that's the thing is
do I love that? I don't love that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens couldn't beat the Jaguars without Lamar Jackson. Imagine their Ravens trying to beat the Jaguars with Lamar Jackson.
Oh, man. That's a scary thought to think about. But at the end of the day, I like having Trevor Lawrence on this team.
I think Trevor Lawrence gets the job done. It's nice to know. Look, Lamar Jackson's happy. He's back in Florida. No state income tax.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Lamar Jackson loves that trade, by the way. He loves that trade. I'm not sure how the fans will feel about that. It is an interesting situation, though, because the Ravens have until pretty much next Tuesday, I believe it's the date, to franchise tag him or he becomes a free agent. Now, they don't have to franchise tag him. They could also work out a long-term deal. But from everything that we're hearing, there's no way that's happening. It's $100 million difference between what the Ravens are thinking and what Lamar Jackson is thinking. Patrick, what could you get with $100 million?
What could I get with $100 million, Josh? First, I would get a nice house, right? Because you got to have a great home base, right? But then you might want to splurge. You know, maybe you know what? Go get that Porsche. Go get that Ferrari.
I want a mini replica of Daytona. No, not Daytona, of Dover and go-kart track.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That'd be so sweet. You know, like a track where you actually have to drive it, and then you get a bunch of go-karts, you have all your friends over, and you just drive go-karts all day.
I want like a 50-yard football field in my backyard. Oh, right? Yeah. Like turf, just ready to go anytime.
Oh, you're a turf guy. You don't really care about player safety?
Well, I'm worried about the weather, Josh, because it's like, do I want to keep maintaining the field? Oh, I have $100 million. I can just pay someone to do that.
You get to maintain that, yeah.
Right, exactly. So why do I matter? Boom. Okay.
$100 million can get you a lot. I'm pro player.
And Josh, I do want to say this. We're going to get into NFL Combine talk a little bit later in the show. But is the NFL not pro player? They're making everyone run on turf?
Well, no, they're not. Those aren't players yet, though. They're actually just college players. There's no guarantee they're going to make it to the NFL. So that's why it doesn't really matter what they're playing on. But yes, $100 million is the difference between Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. It doesn't feel like they're going to get a long-term deal done. And if the Ravens franchise tag him, there's a lot of questions to be answered. One is Lamar Jackson ticked off and going, hey, yeah, I'm not going to play on this deal. Yeah, sorry about that. Or, is he going to go out and play another, 9-game season and then at the end of it, we're in the exact same boat as we were this year. I have no idea.
Third straight year,
just in completely the same situation. That could be a possibility.
Well, because the funniest thing with the Lamar Jackson stuff is, it's like, okay, when he gets hurt, his value goes down because he's hurt.
Yeah.
But his value also goes up because the Ravens can't win without him. So it's like a catch-22.
Oh, absolutely. You know what the thing about all this situation is, you look at like other quarterbacks, right? Like Tom Brady, he always took team-friendly deals because Tom Brady, I think, saw the value in that, hey, if I have a better team, I can win more. And what he knows is that when you win more, guess what? You can make a lot more money off the field as well. That compensates for it. And I think that's something that we're not talking about enough, is that Lamar Jackson does not have an agent, right? And I think that's we've seen players not have agents and get it done, but we also seen players who are not good who have agents get them plastered on everything and make them like Baker Mayfield, perfect example, hasn't really won anything in his career. You know how much money Baker Mayfield's probably made from endorsements? $1 bazillion.
And I love the commercials.
And they're great commercials, right? He's probably made $1 bazillion from endorsements. And so I think good players can afford to take less like large contracts because they know, guess what? I'm going to make my money elsewhere, and I'd rather be on a winning team.
Well,
and I think that Lamar Jackson, he won an MVP, and no shot at Lamar, but he didn't get any brand deals. Like he's not a Nike athlete. He didn't leverage, Era 8 apparel into really anything. He opened up a soul restaurant, which I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's great food. You ate yet? I haven't today, personally.
I haven't ate, no.
But Lamar Jackson he didn't do those things. And so now you're like, obviously he probably feels the pressure to get a big deal. I don't know.
Let me put it like this, Josh. I think you need to go back to school. And by going back to school, I think you can relate the Lamar Jackson contract to how this is going, right? So it's like, you're sitting in there, Josh, you're back in third grade, right? You're sitting in school on a Friday. You probably don't want to be there. You'd rather be at home playing video games, doing anything else other than sitting through math class, right? But then you remember, well, I'm getting paid $40 million to come to school. Like Lamar Jackson is going to play next year, even if he doesn't love his situation and love being there on a Friday. He's still getting paid $40 million. I think you're going to show up just to get the check.
But are you going to show up on, wild card round of the playoffs when you're kind of banged up and you have potentially a massive contract that's up the next year? It's the same question, Patrick.
Everybody knows you get the excused absences, Josh. And
you're right.
Some would argue there was questions last year on whether or not Lamar was having an excused absence or it was an unexcused. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, now that we know about the strength trainer of the Ravens getting by far, not even close, the worst score of any other team, it kind of makes sense Lamar Jackson couldn't get back out there. He wasn't strong enough. They weren't working the leg muscles enough. They're actually maybe overdoing it in the training. And right. By the way, just a side note that when you look at the fact, so for those of you who don't know, the NFL polled players and they gave their teams a grade, kind of like, hey, let's empower the players here.
Right.
And so they let the players give the teams grades. The Ravens got an F-. Like every other team was in the A to B range except for two teams, and that was the Falcons and the Ravens. Falcons get a D. Ravens get an F-.
You know how hard it is to get an F-? Like you were so bad.
This is like PE. This is like getting an F in PE. It's like you just got to show up and run your laps and play dodgeball. That's all you got to do. And so they get an F-. And if you look at like the players who've gotten hurt and how many like torn ACLs we've had in the past few years, it makes a lot of sense. And all the players were speaking out about it.
Yes, they were. Former players saying, hey, I've never been hurt before I came to the Ravens. And then I, was forced to be back in the gym 5 months after an ACL injury. This is all I'm saying is, look, they fired this guy. This guy's name was Steve Saunders. Okay. Ooh. Let's not forget. Steve Saunders is the one that started the COVID outbreak in 2020 when the Ravens couldn't play for like a whole week against the Steelers because Steve Saunders didn't report his symptoms, right? Steve Saunders is also a guy that has not really updated his LinkedIn in 3 years. You go to his LinkedIn, it still says Ravens Director of Performance, founder of Powertrain Sports, Under Armour team training member. Well, the problem is homeboy's fired. You go under it. There's not much recent activity, but what I can tell you is recent activity is 3 years ago. He liked executive members of Subway. Is Steve Saunders about to be the next fast food employee?
Oh, man, it could be. I'm loving that he loves Subway, I guess. Listen, that's crazy about the COVID outbreak. I had no idea that's the same dude. Now it kind of makes sense. It's all kind of coming together. And listen, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure.
Do you see what he looks like?
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Look,
but
Josh, if you looked at his LinkedIn picture right now, he has a bigger forehead than Peyton Manning.
Okay, but that could be make him nicer. Peyton Manning seems like a really genuine guy.
Actually, that's a great point.
So let me look up Steve Saunders. Oh man, he's like the top search right now. Like that came up immediately.
He has 500 plus connections. I'm gonna try to connect with him.
I bet you I can connect. Do I have any mutuals with him? Oh wait, dang it, I'm on Facebook. Wrong app. I was added Steve Saunders as a friend. Let me think here. Steve Saunders. There's a lot of people here. Oh, whatever. I'll see if we have any later. Anyway, Patrick, though. Yeah, so Lamar Jackson, I don't know where he's going to end up. I do believe that he's not going to be a Raven, though. And I'm not sure if it's Jacksonville. The wheel has not been wrong too many times. That would be a shocking trade. And by the way, we're going to clip this. And if he does end up in Jacksonville, which nobody's expecting, nobody's even talking about,
we look like geniuses.
We're geniuses right now. We are geniuses.
I know we got Josh is doing a great job on socials. You know, we're getting views, we're getting clicks. You know, right now I think we're sitting at 100 subs here on the YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, it's not too many subs.
You're talking about an absolute, rags to riches story. If we can predict the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And so that's exciting. Speaking of Ravens, by the way, Rashad Bateman and Eric DeCosta have a little bit of beef. Eric DeCosta goes, I just got to figure out how to draft good wide receivers. And Rashad Bateman's like, in a tweet that is now deleted, is like, I would have said, he basically called him out for not being able to, saying, hey, stop putting the blame on the players. Why don't you do your job? Pretty much what he said, right?
Right. And Rashad Bateman was also fed up with Steve Saunders because Rashad Bateman never got hurt before he came to the Ravens, has now been hurt in both of his first 2 NFL seasons, right? So a lot of pent-up aggression, but here's the thing. Rashad Bateman says that, and he starts getting some support. There was a guy named Hollywood that plays in Arizona.
Yeah.
Was like,
who requested a trade previously.
Right. And what cracked me up about that statement is he basically was like, look, you're not using your players right. You need to play to your players' strengths. The Ravens have the best rushing attack in the league because Lamar Jackson's their quarterback. Isn't that playing to their strength?
I would say, yeah. I'd say that's
okay.
And I want you to remember that this Joe Flacco team was built a lot different than the Lamar Jackson team.
Yep.
So I just want people to be aware of that. Listen, the Ravens are one of the better teams at playing to their personnel. And by the way, we got an offensive coordinator who says, I'm just going to play to the strengths of this. I'm going to look at the guys we got. And, I built a system around the boys.
I would just love to be like, I just want like an NFL coach to just be so petty one day. Right. But the only problem is NFL coaches, I think they're super cocky. Probably they have a very high opinion of themselves. They're probably
especially Ravens coaches. They think everything they do is great. By the way, like John Harbaugh hasn't done a thing wrong in the past 8 years.
Marcus Peters has never committed a penalty in his life. Right. So I think it bleeds through the organization. Is what I'm saying. Is that mindset. Right. I would love for the coaches to just go out one day and be like, you know what? Screw it. Rashad Bateman, we're going to throw you the ball every single time. You want the ball, we'll give it to you, right? All these guys, like Hollywood Brown, we'll trade for you again. You want the ball, we'll throw 1,000 deep shots to you, and we'll see how it works out. My guess is it
probably won't work out. He did have a couple games there we did really well, but it is interesting. I've never seen a GM beef with a player before. And that...
I would argue, Josh, I'd argue Rashad Bateman beefing with the GM.
Yeah, now he could have said better receivers maybe, or
he could have been like, well, I really like the guys we got now, but certainly over our history.
Clearly, he's not happy with how he's done.
I mean,
well, like he looks at the receiver room and goes. I mean, I just want to know why the Steelers are just amazing at drafting receivers.
I mean, they're all head cases. Antonio Brown, Martavis
absolutely,
Bryant,
but they know I'd take a head case right now. Field. I'd take a head case right now. Anyway, moving on to other NFL news. Speaking of wide receivers.
Wait, before that, real quick, Josh. You know who doesn't get talked about enough is Santonio Holmes.
Okay. Why?
He was on the Steelers, bit of a head case. But like we always forget about him.
That was it? Okay, that was it. Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I thought that was going to get a little bit bigger. Okay, never mind.
I don't know who Antonio Holmes is. I'm be honest with you.
The guy they called. Are you kidding me?
No, who is he?
The guy that caught the toe tap touchdown in the Super Bowl against Kurt Warner.
Okay. What about him? I don't know how much I could build off.
Who
there.
should have been a Steeler? You know who was a missed opportunity? Who should have been a Steeler? Plexico Burress.
Yes, totally.
Josh, oh my gosh, Josh! If Plexico Burress happens today, you make a video on him in a heartbeat. Do you know what happened to Plexico Burress?
No.
Shot himself in the leg in a nightclub.
Oh man, that's you don't want to do that. Okay, well.
Anyway, move on, Josh.
Clearly missed the toe, so that's good. Like I was saying, AJ Brown called out Juju Smith-Schuster after Juju posted a video in collaboration on TikTok with another creator whose name is escaping me, and it was a 2-minute video. It was a little sketch. I'm be honest with you, there's like a Chinese dude in there. He wasn't Chinese. It was a dude playing a guy from China. And there was like time traveling back and forth in the present. I'm not sure if they're actually time traveling or just going back and forth or what it was. I know the Eagles team was in there somehow.
And just a lot going
Super Bowl. Yeah, Juju was taking out the trash at one point and he got abducted into a van. I'll be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure what was happening. It was very hard for me to follow, but I'm not really a big story guy. I don't really know about movies or anything like that. So that's kind of hard for me to relate to. But I guess somewhere in that video, in that 2 minutes, did not make it through the end. AJ Brown or AJ Brown's peers were called out, and AJ Brown said, "Hey, you better shut the heck up or you're going to get beat." That's what he said, paraphrasing. Close?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm AJ Brown, I like the move out of AJ Brown. I do. I'm officially, Josh, I want to come out and say it. Officially, I'm pro AJ Brown in this. All right.
Jeez, Louise Patrick.
You're really going to take TikTok boy's side?
No, I can't take AJ Brown's side, though. He's a Titan and an Eagle. It's like two of the worst teams to me.
Juju was a Steeler.
Yeah, he's not a Steeler anymore. He's a Chief. He's a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, I would argue that's almost worse.
Is it worse?
Being a Steeler Chief?
No.
Than a Titan Eagle?
No, I think because I'm fine with the Chiefs. Because here's the thing,
yeah,
it's like he almost spit on the Steelers' face. Like if AJ Brown went like Titans somewhere else that I don't mind, then he's actually progressing. This is called progression. But he actually went to a team I hate worse. So it's like that's called regression. I'm all for somebody who's taking initiative in their life to get better.
Right. But was he? Is that how the? I don't. I might be confused here, Josh. Anyway,
okay, maybe
AJ Brown.
So you're pro AJ Brown in this situation.
I'm a pro AJ Brown guy. I think he's a lot better than Juju. The only problem is, here's the issue, Josh.
What's the issue?
Juju got that ring.
Yeah, he does have a ring,
and that's worth a little bit.
Yep. And he showed up, by the way, to get that ring. It wasn't like, listen, Juju is a classic example of guy on the class project who doesn't really do much. But you know what? Day of the presentation, he presents really well. Like he didn't really help in the preparation a whole lot. But when you got to everyone has to do their slide, he kills it.
Right. And you respect that because you're worried about this guy. You're like, I don't know if he's going to do well.
You don't even know if he's coming to class.
Right. You don't even know he's coming to class, and you're worried about your own slide that you gotta present. And then this guy shows up and he does his slide and he helps your slide, and you're like, this guy was the greatest teammate I've ever had.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. That's Juju Smith-Schuster in a nutshell. He's the guy you want on your team in the big moments, and so yeah. So Juju got a ring.
Think about it, Josh.
Here's the thing. I think Juju could do what he wants for the next 6 months.
Well, and the other thing is you got to think about it. You want Juju as your teammate because you want to make that TikTok with him, because if you make that TikTok with him, you know what? You probably got that ring.
Oh, absolutely.
TikTok equals ring equals Super Bowl.
Now, I will say he's going to have to play well next season. Depending on how much you talk, you're going to have to show up a little bit. But yeah, let the players play. Let them chirp a bit. I'm fine. I'm all for that.
You're pro chirp.
I'm pro chirp as long as you back it up. Anyway, update from the NFL Combine. We have some fast dudes. Dudes are just they're getting fast. I'd argue that they'd be fast enough to compete with me in intramural flag football.
Well, let me ask you a question, Josh. Right now, what do you think you could run for the NFL 40?
I don't know, like 4.19.
Yeah, 4.19, easy.
Is that a record?
Easy. I think John Ross ran that.
I got it. Yeah. No, but anyway, so Nolan Smith, though, 4.39. Ridiculous. Super fast. And that's a linebacker. So, I mean, I'm not sure like the math equation for momentum, but I think speed is a factor in that.
Speed is a factor.
And if
speed equals force equals momentum. And momentum equals fast.
Momentum equals hitting somebody so hard that their head flies off. And that's like what this dude's gonna do. I mean, if you run fast enough, you could be 120 pounds soaking wet. If you run fast enough, you can kill a dude. How a bullet only weighs a couple grams, right?
That's the direction we went.
It's true. It's true. Something shot out hard enough.
Yeah, but not. What is that true? Because so imagine. I hate that we're using bullets reference now, but so imagine there's like a 1,000-pound individual.
Yeah.
That's sturdy. Would the bullet break through that?
Yeah, it would if it was going fast enough.
But then is there
Nolan Smith? He could kill somebody with that kind of speed if he was tiny. I'm fully convinced Tyreek Hill, he could run through a wall if he got enough laps to build up speed.
Okay, so we get Tyreek Hill.
But now he's big. Now he's a big dude. So it's so what I'm saying doesn't even matter. This dude, he's big. He could probably run through a planet.
Right. So let's get Tyreek Hill. Let's get Tyreek Hill to run downhill. Right. Let's get him on Mount Everest. He's running downhill, and let's put this to test.
Yeah, I think he could. And so there's some fast dudes. Kalaya, Case, Cansey, D lineman.
Killed that. You killed that. Good work, Josh.
Thank you. 4.4, ridiculously fast. That's a D lineman. What do you have no business being that fast.
Josh, I probably could run a 5.4 right now.
You think so? Isn't that Tom Brady's speed?
Really, Did he run a 5.2?
Patrick, if you can run a 5.4, because here's the thing. Last night I took down the trash. And every time I take down the trash, if I see a car in the distance, I have to I challenge myself. I have to run down my driveway. Is not super long, but it's about 200 meters.
How many yards is that?
I don't know.
Where did 200 meters come from?
We measured it. I think. No, maybe it's less. It's 150 meters, maybe. Maybe it could be 120.
We're all over the place.
120. It's probably around 125 meters. And I see
was just 200 10 seconds ago.
And I see a car in the distance. I have to make it to my doorstep before that car passes me. Because in my brain, if they see me, they're going to pull in the driveway. It's since I was a kid, it's always been my mentality. So it's always like a good speed check, take the trash down, and I'm like, okay, I gotta see if I still got it. And I'm always barefoot, so that's kind of like the factor. Last night, I mean, it took me a second to get to that gear, but when I got to that gear and I was flying.
How fast do you think you cover those 125 meters?
I mean, 6
seconds.
I don't know. That seems fast, but maybe. I'm no math guy, but you tell me what my 40 time is. That's probably good. You do the math.
Just doing some quick math here, real quick.
Got it.
That means you would run a sub 2 40-yard dash. Okay.
Okay.
You covered 136 yards in 6 seconds.
Jeez, that's good for me.
Sub 2.
Sub 2. Okay, so we know. I'm fast, okay? We get it. Sub 240.
Sub 2. And that's what you have to look at is you when you bring in Josh Klein, even with the strain quad, bad hip,
and two bad hips,
double bad hips. He runs a sub 2 40 as your long snapper.
Yeah, as your I could be your long snapper running a sub 240. So I hope
think of it like as long snapper comes out, you got to punt the ball, right? You're the long snapper. There's no excuse for your long snapper not to be down there covering the guy that's going to return the kick.
Oh, that's a great point.
I'm an
asset. Yeah. Hey, by the way, NFL, if you want to invite me to the combine, I could make a flight. I could get there.
If I were you, Josh, I would do next year.
Oh, just chance because I am at my hips. I'm still working. I'm getting them better, but yeah, it'll be good.
Because I don't know if you medically get cleared yet.
Oh, great point. Yeah. So Morgan Wallen, he released a new album last night, and the thing I love about an album like this is that
Josh, tell me.
Is that when you look at it, it's everything that you want in a country album. Listening to some of these songs. Okay. Born with a beer in my hand.
Boom.
Man made a bar. Whiskey friends. In the Bible. F-150.
Dash 50.
I deserve a drink.
Neon Star. Country Boy Lullaby.
Cowgirls.
Don't Think Jesus.
Yep. Last Drive Down Main. I mean, these are the most country songs you could ever think of, Patrick.
And you didn't even mention Cowgirls, Josh.
I did mention Cowgirls.
Okay, well, I wasn't.
Yeah, Cowgirls. So you look at this album here, and I'm not sure if it's how good it is, but I'm telling you what.
I just want to just throw Morgan Wallen real quick here. He has a song on this album called 98 Braves. The 1998 Braves did not win the World Series.
Oh, man. Maybe that's the point. Have you listened to the song?
Yes, I have.
Is it about them winning the World Series?
It's about him not, I guess, getting married to the girl.
Oh, so yeah. So that's poetic.
Is it? Or is he just a loser?
No, it's like just like they didn't win the World Series. I didn't. But also kind of inconsistent because Tennessee's not really a Braves city. What?
Yeah, it is. It's
Tennessee
only 4 hours from Atlanta.
Tennessee goes Braves?
Yeah, there's no other team near them.
I thought they went to Orioles because the Orioles are moving there.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe not in 1998, Josh.
I thought they had like that kind of foresight. Okay. That's on me. Yeah. That's on me. So apparently
that's on you. You can't have that. Look, I just want to say, but when you look at Morgan Wallen, look, 98 Braves talks about them not getting the job done. They won in the playoffs. So this girl, he doesn't get married, but like, did they date for like 5 years?
Oh man.
Because it's still a pretty good run.
That's pretty sad though. Oh man, poor guy. Hey, Morgan, I stand with you. Hey, I hope more songs about Jesus, less about the alcohol, and I think you might straighten yourself out there. But I think Jesus, a couple Jesus songs in there. That's the start. You get the Bible, got Jesus. Good. We're rooting for you, Morgan. Big comeback. NASCAR preview. Where are they at this week?
They are at Las Vegas.
So, are we going to bet on Kyle Larson or not? Because Kyle Larson was my pick last week, and it was my not like one of my picks the week before, and now all of a sudden, 2 weeks in, I don't think he's finished above 30.
Josh, I'm rolling with you. Let's both take Kyle Larson this week.
Boom. XFL preview. Houston Roughnecks, greatest defense of all time. If that stats will tell you that, Patrick, you can beat it now all you want. We're playing
DC Defenders Military Appreciation Weekend.
That's
Boom.
great.
How can you not support our military?
San Antonio Brahmas, they're not going to know what hit them when the Roughnecks come to town. If you're still listening to this episode, make sure you guys DM us at Picks and Pancakes on Instagram, and you'll get a free mug. Also, make sure you check us out on our website at picksandpancakes.com. Subscribe on all platforms. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, make sure you leave us 5 stars. Thank you, Patrick. You have a wonderful day. Anything else you want to say? We have less than a minute.
Yeah. And NASCAR preview in like 5 seconds.
Sub-minute. I mean, that's what we do. Yeah. We're a professional show here.
Show.
Yeah. So, Patrick, you have a wonderful day. And, Patrick, you're not going to be here for next week for spring break. We're going to have a fill-in, maybe one fill-in, maybe 2 fill-in. I hear Patrick's gone. I hear Mike Jones could be a fill-in. He's not filling in. Anyway, guys, make sure you have a wonderful day. Patrick, he's already gone. A peace.